Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm here with Gary Rohrmayer, president of Converge Mid-America. He is on his way out of town shortly, but he's honoring us with his presence just for me to hang out with him a little bit and to ask him a few questions. So, Gary, if you could you just give us a snapshot of your family, your life, what your day-to-day looks like?
Okay. Yeah. So, my wife, Mary, we've been married, going to be 35 years this fall. And we have three kids, Joshua, and he lives in Korea. Daniel, he lives in Kenosha. And our daughter, Callie, is out in Pasadena. And we as a family attended Faith back in the late 90s. And then we're sent out to help plant the church at Northbridge. And one of the things I'm always excited about Faith is the fact that Pastor Zach was one of the first pastors who came to me and said, Gary, we want to get in the church planting game. And really was the first church that when I took over as church planting director that jumped in and planted Northbridge Church, and many since then. And so we're so thankful for Faith and now for the merger of Torch of Faith.
That's awesome. So, Gary, there's plenty of folks here watching who know about Converge, but there's plenty who don't. Could you give us a snapshot? What is Converge? What does it do? How do you help equip churches?
Right. And basically, the way Converge started was it was basically churches hiring itinerant preachers or church planters to go and plant churches in their region. And I've actually got records of churches gathering together to fund a itinerant preacher, and so it's very interesting that they paid them $1 a month. So and they only lasted a year, and so there were like several of these guys that went around and went and riding on horseback and just went to different cities to gather people together, start churches, and the old horseback riders. So they were basically the missional arm of a local gathering of churches. And then as it morphed over time, became more of hiring a church planting director who would help not only start new churches, but also come along and strengthen them. And that's kind of what we call our S2 strategy, starting and strengthening churches. So we start new ones, and then we strengthen new ones, and we strengthen old ones so that they'll start more new churches. And so that's kind of in essence what we are. But where we live, I always say this all the time that Mark's actually one of my new bosses. I work for the churches. I work for you. The churches don't work for me. And we're here just to resource, support, and encourage them.
Now, Gary, some describe Converge as a denomination. I've heard you talk about it differently. How would you describe it?
Yeah, Converge is more like an association of churches. Denominations tend to have a hierarchy that basically tells the church what to do. But in an association, every church is independent, autonomous, and self-governing, and basically voluntarily partners with Converge or with the association. So ultimately, I work for the churches. The churches don't work for me, and it's a voluntary relationship that we work together on to really see the gospel go forward in this area. And right now we're calling our Converge Mid-America's 6-state region, and to see the gospel forward through aggressive church planting and helping churches.
I love that, man. Now, some people would say, so does that mean Converge is non-denominational? But I've heard you use the term interdenominational. Can you help us understand that?
I like non-denominational kind of says what we're not. And I think interdenominational says what we are. And in meaning interdenominational in the sense that we welcome people from all different backgrounds.
I like that.
And we want them to be focused on who Jesus is and God's word and things of that nature and working together in our joint mission.
I like that. I like the way that sounds. Not so much what we're against, but who we're partnering with and what we're for. I love that.
Right.
Well, Gary, as you've watched this thing unfold, this whole process with Faith Church and Torch Church, now becoming Torch of Faith, What have been some of your thoughts? What are you excited about that new church family?
Yeah. Well, number one, I was very excited when Torch joined us about 9 months ago, and very excited about your pastor here and his leadership and his passion for God, his passion for lost people. And then when the merger started taking place, I was very excited about that as Dick Loazo on our team worked with you and seeing this merger take place. And just, the whole idea that we're better together. Yeah. And the fact is that we believe that you're going to be a bright and shining light here in Lake County and really help us start multiple churches throughout Lake County and throughout our region for God's glory.
That sounds awesome. Brother, well, I appreciate you taking the time today. How can people find out more about you, about Converge? Where should they go online?
Well, if you just, number one, you can go, we have a Facebook page, Converge Mid-America Facebook page, and we love it when people like us. Okay.
For sure.
I have a Facebook page. I love it when people like me. You go find it there. We're on Twitter. We've got a great and robust website.
That's awesome. We will link to those resources and websites that you mentioned in the description. Gary, thanks again so much for just coming with us on the journey and for giving us some good encouragement today.
All right. We're very, very, very thankful and excited about the Torch of Faith's future.